Emilie Cady and the Quiet Power of Thought. There is something that happens to a lot of good, hardworking people once they come up on retirement, so to speak. Now, as we've discussed, the schedule, it just slows down, the pressure, overall pressure drops. And for the first time in decades, there's space, there's room. At first, that sounds like a real gift, but after a while and things get settled in, some folks begin to notice something else. Their body feels different. Their thoughts feel heavier. They've got worries that come back around and just manifest. Aches and pains seem stronger than they used to be. Everything settles in, and without a job title to carry, they quietly ask themselves, what do I do now? What's my purpose? I've seen it more than once. A man works 40 years, carries a family, or a woman, and fixes what needs to be fixed. And then one day they wake up without a clock telling him or her that, who are you? A woman gives her whole life to raising children, organizing everything in the family and caring for everyone else. And then the house just gets empty and quiet. And in that quietness, the mind starts talking. That's where today's episode leads to. And I want to talk about this. Now, back in the 19th century, there was a woman named Emilie Cady. She wasn't loud. She wasn't flashy. She didn't run around trying to fix the whole world. She wrote about something simple and steady. She wrote about the power of thought. Now, she was a Christian-based thinking woman, not magic thinking, not pretending problems don't exist. But the idea that what a person consistently holds in their mind begins to shape their inner condition. That matters more in retirement than people really realize. When the body, slows down, the mind often speeds up. Regrets rehearse, the loops come back, old arguments resurface, health fears, they grow, and bigger than they ever needed to be. And if we're not careful, we begin to manage our life from a place of worry, horror, instead of just plain good order. Now, Emilie Cady believed that thought is formative. In plain words, what you dwell on long enough begins to influence your body, your mood, your posture, even your digestive system. Now, that doesn't mean a person can think away every illness. That's not real. But it does mean we have more responsibility over our inner climate, our inner thoughts, than we were taught. And that's good news for us. Retirement is not decline. It's the second act of things. It's the season where a person finally has time to manage their internal house the way they once managed their job site or their household. All of this cumulative knowledge is coming together. Now we need to compose it. Now, I like to tell folks, you've been project manager for companies and families and everything. Now you're project manager of your own body and mind. Now, this starts with thought. If you wake up each morning rehearsing everything that's going wrong, your nervous system is going to hear that and you're going to suffer. Your blood pressure hears that. Your sleep hears that. The body keeps record for decades and decades. And it's objective in how it deals out. It doesn't just respond to food. It responds to the atmosphere, the environment. Now, older thinkers, as I mentioned before, they understood this without modern terms. They didn't say stress hormones. They didn't. They said guard your mind. They knew that bitterness wears on a person the same way poor diet does. And here's the thing: the body in retirement is more sensitive, not weaker. It's more honest. If you overflush minerals, you feel it. If you drink nothing but plastic bottled water without electrolytes, you feel it. Now, I can't say this enough. This is the foundation. It's your minerals. If you stay up late replaying problems your sleep won't repair, it won't repair the way it should. Sleep is repair time. Sunlight is instruction. Clean water with proper minerals supports the electrical system God built into you. Potassium, magnesium, even trace minerals, copper when appropriate. These aren't trendy ideas. Now, I read somewhere the other day that 92% of the world population was potassium deficient. Now, these are maintenance items, and thought is part of that maintenance. If your mind is consistent alarm, your body stays in alarm mode. Emilie Cady wrote about aligning thought with steadiness and faith, not loud faith, not dramatic declarations, quiet confidence, the kind that says, I will direct my mind toward what builds, not what breaks. That's practical. You can begin each morning by choosing what you'll rehearse. You're in charge of that. You can decide that you won't spend an hour on news that leaves you agitated and upset. You can take 10 minutes in the sunlight instead. You can drink water with the proper electrolytes instead of something that strips you clean, just flushes your system out. You can fast occasionally to reset your metabolism and give your body time to repair. It knows how to regulate itself. Fasting isn't punishment. It is maintenance. The body keeps record, but it also responds when treated with order. And so does the mind. I've noticed something in my own life when I let my thoughts wander into worst case scenarios. And you know what I'm talking about. My shoulders tighten, my breathing shortens, frantic, jumping to conclusions. But when I sit quietly and direct my attention toward gratitude, responsibility, my body settles down. Nothing outside changed that moment, but inside me, alignment returned. That's what Emilie Cady was pointing to. Thought is not decoration, it is direction. Retirees especially need this. They need this reminder. You are not done. You are needed as mentors. Younger people are watching how you handle aging, how you handle setbacks. This is your new role, is to be the leader in society, to set examples. They look at how you handle the health changes. If you live from steadiness inside of fear, you teach without ever giving a lecture. Now, faith supports steadiness. It doesn't create panic, drama. It doesn't demand chaos. It anchors a person so they can respond wisely instead of reacting quickly right off the cuff. Now, that also means being honest, objective. If you've neglected sleep for years, start protecting it now. If you've drained minerals and excess coffee drinking or stress, rebuild these things slowly. If your body signals that it needs walking, give it walking what it needs. If it needs rest, give it rest. But don't let your thought life sabotage your physical rebuilding. The quiet power of thought is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about refusing to live under constant internal argument, those loops. You can acknowledge reality without surrendering to anxiety and being a slave to that and wrecking your health by it. You can see a lab report and still say, all right, let's manage this. Let's work on this. That's project management thinking. Assess, adjust, act. No panic. Retirement gives you the gift of time to practice this. You don't need to overhaul everything in a week. Start with your morning. Guard the first hour. Let your thoughts settle before the world speaks to you. Drink, I can't emphasize this enough, drink good, clean water. Step outside. Breathe slowly. Decide what kind of internal environment you're going to build that day for yourself. Over months, this shapes a person. Now, Emilie Cady lived in a time without our technology, without our constant stimulation, and she still saw how powerful steady thought could be. You know, if it mattered then in the 19th century, it matters more now. Your body is not your enemy. Your mind is not your enemy. They are systems that respond to the overall leadership you provide. And at this stage of life, you have the experience needed to lead yourself wisely. We can't go back and redo 30, 40 years. but we can steward today. We can choose order instead of agitation. We can build health patiently instead of chasing the extremes. We can let faith steady us instead of letting fear rush us. Now, that's not anything dramatic. It's just discipline. And discipline applied gently over time, it restores more than people really think. I don't have all of this figured out. I'm still working on it myself. So let's just keep moving forward on this journey together. And thanks for watching. I appreciate you.